We now take a look at another aspect of raising children in our home. You remember, children are a precious commodity, and they've been given to us as a gift, and it's important that we teach them well and we raise them in a way that we would be proud of them as they become young adults and then move into adulthood. That's what this is all about. Dr. Teach Me to Parent. So it's glad you're joining me today, and so get your cup of coffee and let's sit down together and let's take a look at a couple aspects of child management and child rearing and child development. Now, today I'd like to give you another quote that just puts this into perspective as we move into our topics today. The thankful person always has something to share with others. Just think of that. The thankful person has always something to share with others. You know, the concept here is, of course, that you're thankful for your children. You're thankful for your family. You're thankful for your home. You're thankful for your marriage. You're thankful for your friends and thankful for your community and your support system that you have. There's lots of things to be thankful for around this idea of child management and raising children in your home. And when you're thankful, when you appreciate, when you focus on the things for which you're thankful, you always have something to share. You always have a story to tell. You always have a life to present to other people. There's always a child that you're proud of and children that you're proud of, and to put them forth, you know, in your community and with your circle of friends and where you do your business. Be proud of your kids, and when you are, you're going to be thankful for them, and obviously you'll have something to share. Now, today what I'd like to do is to just focus on two issues this morning in the first part of our show, and that is money management. You know, there's a lot of areas of the management of money relative to children. And, you know, children have to learn how to earn money, you know, to acquire money in some form. They have to learn how to save money. They have to learn how to manage the money that they have. They have to learn how to spend it wisely, and learn how to give it away. So when you think in terms of money management, we're not just talking about acquiring money, but we're talking about these 5 aspects of money management. And I'd like to unfold those today as we just kind of think about the idea of money management. So first of all, I'd like to think about just the idea of piggyback management, piggyback money management. You know, we've always had this idea of the piggy bank, and we're raised with piggy banks. I was raised with a piggy bank. Many of us have been raised with piggy banks. And that's where we put a little bit of money and then saved it that way. That was our savings system. And then when something came along that we really wanted, we'd break into that piggy bank and obviously use that and get what we wanted to have. So it was the idea of how we managed our money. And it was a very practical way and a very definite way within the child's scope of understanding. So we'll take a look at that a little bit, you know, today, okay? Now, there's 2 aspects I'd like to focus on first. You know, earning money and managing that money. Well, first of all, you have to learn how to manage money, no matter how you get it. And then you have to earn it. You have to learn how to earn it, if you will. So when we talk about children, young children, how do they acquire money? How do they start getting money? Well, they get it by gift. You know, usually birthday gifts and little prizes that they get for different things, small little chores that they do around the house. They get money in a variety of ways. It is a lot of money, but it's a little money. Sometimes just being gracious to them and giving them a few cents is a kind of a nice way to give money. And then they turn around and manage that money so that they save a little bit of it, they spend a little bit of it. And then they have something that they can use and learn what money is and learn what the value of money and learn the value of using money in their own life. Now, some young children don't handle money. We don't let them use money itself, or we don't give them much money as we think of it. Some families use what is called a token economy. A token economy is maybe you give a child a chip. Give the child maybe a little card or a little piece of paper with a little note on it, like 1 cent or 5 cents or 10 cents. And they put that little chip or that little note somewhere, maybe in a piggy bank, if you will. They put that. And then if they want to go to a garage sale or they want to buy something at the store, they cash in the chips for a few cents, and then they can go and buy the item that they are cherishing. So that's called token management, token money management, token economy, if you will. So you may want to use something like that. A good way to start with children is to giving them little tokens which they can cash in then to use for something that they would like, to buy. That's how you start money management. That's how you start this whole idea. And it starts in kindergarten. It starts in preschool. So that's where you kind of begin this process of teaching children that you get something, you hold on to it, and then you use it to purchase something, whether it's money itself or it's some kind of a token. And then a child moves up into the process of doing small chores. And for small chores, small pay. Those go together. So taking out the garbage, dusting, cleaning the house, helping in the yard, helping carrying groceries in, taking the garbage cans out, helping in a lot of different little ways. Kindergarten, a first grader or a second grader can help. That's when they get little chores which result in little pay. And then that pay is saved. Some of it's saved for something that they want. So that money becomes then something that they utilize. So they learn on management. Management is saving money. Management is using it for something special and waiting until something special comes along. So that's where we kind of start this token economy. And that's ages 5 to 10, and that age you're in there where they're learning to acquire money and to use it appropriately. So think of it in the sense of small chores, small pay, and then gradually increase that to a little larger chores and a little larger pay. Because you want to give children money, not for the sake that they have money, or not just because they did something, but the children need money so they learn how to manage money. The purpose of giving children money is they learn how to manage it. And if they don't learn how to manage it, they'll never have a positive system of acquiring money, saving money, and accumulating wealth and living successfully throughout their life. So that's why we give money to children. It's to give them opportunity to learn how to manage that money. Okay, then number 3 is to look at it this way. Parents provide the needs for children. The food, the clothing, the housing, and all the kind of things that a child needs. That's what parents are for. Parents do that throughout a child's life. But children can begin to spend money, save money for the things that they want. So there's a difference between what a child needs and what a child wants. And if it's something that falls into the category of wanting, then a child takes on responsibility to save for that and to buy that. Or to save for that and then contribute to the buying of that. Maybe they'll pay a half, maybe they'll pay a third of it. But they'll contribute to buying something that you will help them buy because it falls in the category of a want as compared to something that is needed. You provide what is needed, and they help pay for the things that are wanted. And the earlier you begin that process, the better. Children should always be contributing to something that is that falls in the category of the want area of life. Now, what about our kids in the area of money management when it comes to banks and checking accounts and savings accounts? You start with a piggy bank, that's for sure. You put money in a drawer, you put money in a box, that's where it starts. But then at some point, a child has to move up the ladder to opening a checking or a savings account. And that usually is in about junior high school. That's where kids begin to have now the adult system of saving money. So you take them to the bank, and you introduce them to the bank, and you educate them about the bank, or a credit union if that's what you use, and open an account so that the child can begin to put money into those accounts, save them for a longer term, for something bigger, something that they really want to save for. And then when that time comes, when they have enough money, they can withdraw that money and then buy what they want and what they feel they need, you see. So when you move into the junior high years, you're really moving into kind of an adult system of money management, and that has to do with savings and banking and saving for some things that are bigger and purchasing the gifts out of the savings account. So by grade 7, by grade 8, that needs to be accomplished and needs to be implemented in your home with your children. Junior high, open an account and teach them how to use that account and teach them how to save for that. So whenever they get money, however they get money, part-time work, gifts, little things that they find here and there that they can do that will reap them some money. It goes into the savings account and saves for that thing that they are wanting to have once they have sufficient amount of money. Now, what about part-time work? What about part-time work? About grade 9. About grade 9, children should start doing part-time work. That's babysitting, that's cutting grass on the street for neighbors, that's maybe having a contractor taking out the garbage can for a neighbor, maybe that's going over to a neighbor's house and cleaning. I mean, there's just hundreds of different ways that a child can engage in part-time work and gain a little bit of money by the process of working. And guys and gals the same. So about that time in life, about grade 9, you want to have a child begin the process of earning money through kind of little chores and part-time work that they do outside of the home and they do for other people. So you're introducing the idea of work. You're introducing the idea of employment. You're introducing the idea of increased amount of money, and then you have increased amount of savings, which means you can have wants that are a little bit larger and a little bit more expensive, if you will. That's kind of the process that goes on in the adult world, and you want to teach that, to your children in the child's world. So about grade 9, get the work started and income for work beyond the home and beyond the grandparents and beyond, your relatives or, whatever that might be. So money management starts early in life. It continues and develops on into the high school years. And the personal money management totally should be by grade 11. A child should be pretty independent and self-sufficient by grade 11. Now that's the third year of high school. But it should be pretty independent in being able to acquire money, save money, and use money for their wants. You as a parent are still responsible for their needs. But for their wants, they should be pretty independent and be able to either buy it totally or have a substantial contribution towards buying some of the things that they would want. So when they get part-time work and they have other kinds of employment possibilities, other gift possibilities, earning money in a variety of ways, by the 11th grade, they should be pretty independent in being able to acquire money and then manage that money for their own personal use. Now, as a parent, the next step is obviously to help develop a child's educational account. Develop an educational account for your children. In fact, I would encourage that when a child is born, that you start to put money into an educational account, because that child is going to go to college. Like in our home, we didn't ask if you're going to go to college. We didn't talk that way. We talk about what college you're going to go to and what you're going to major in. So you want to have funds available, 12 years from now. So start your money management savings account for educational purposes at birth. Set up an account. A 509 plan is a wonderful way to do this. Talk to your bank about a 509 plan and set up a system whereby you can put money into an account, and that just accumulates over time. And over the next 12 years, a sufficient amount of money is now on hand to help that child start an educational career. You may get them through a year or two, or you may have enough money to help them through 4 years of college. But at least you have a way to start the college funding that a child's going to need. So it really tells a child, when you set up an educational account, that child's going to college, that you value college, you value an education, and you value them as an individual to be educated, to have their mind developed and sharpened. And that's what you're telling them by setting up this account. And it puts forth an expectation that college is in their future. So I say set up an educational account, start it as early as you possibly can. You put in just $10, $25, $50, whenever you can. Birthdays, that's what you give children for the birthday gift, is money into their college fund. When they graduate, you put money into their college fund. When they have special events and special recognitions, you put money into their college fund. And you start building that college fund and help them see the value of that. So a 509 plan is an excellent way to go, and your bank can help you, set that up so you can have that. Now, it's not just money. There are lots of ways that you can earn income, and you can acquire things, you can trade, you can barter, you can work. There's lots of different ways to acquire things that you want. Sure, you can have money and buy things, but sometimes you can trade things. Sometimes you can sell something to get some money to buy something else. You teach children that process of using money and using the things that they have to upgrade and to make sure that they have a better system of acquiring and managing the money that they acquire. So various jobs, and there's all kinds of ways for income potential. But you want to help them see that if they have a certain career, that this is the kind of outcome. This is the kind of money they can expect to make. If they have a different career, they can expect a different level of income. So when you look at children in terms of helping them understand the career possibilities, help them see what the future could be if they went into a particular career. Careers that require an education, careers that don't require an education. What the difference in what they will acquire and what they will learn and how they will live and the quality of life that they will have. And then lastly, there is a purpose for earning and there's a purpose for spending money. Help them understand that. Sure, there's a purpose for earning. You know, we have a quality of life. We have a higher quality of life when we earn money. We have self-respect. We have self-dignity when we earn money. And when we spend that, we can increase our quality of life. We increase the quantity of our life. We increase the ways in which we enter into our community and become part of that community and part of the world in which we live. So, set up a budget, read articles on money management for children, teach shopping tips, give them tips that you can buy this or you can buy that for less money and better quality, and educate them in buying and shopping. Open these savings accounts. And you might even want to play the game of stock market. Just pretend that you're going to buy some stock and then watch that stock over 6 months and see what it does. And teach them what a stock market is all about and how they can learn to save money but also acquire money through the stock market and through these kind of savings possibilities. So, parent, teach by example. You do all these things with them. You're the example. You're the model. They'll follow your rule. They'll follow your guidance. So you start the process. And let's help our children not only have a piggy bank management system for their money, but a really an adult system which utilizes the institutions of our world, the banks and the credit unions and the stock markets and all the various ways in which children can learn to acquire money. Well, anyway, nice to have you with me for the first part. I'm going to do it when we come back from our commercial break. We're going to look at how children can be taught to give money away. You know, it's not just a matter of acquiring and saving money and buying things with it, but some of that money needs to be given away. And we need to teach our children philanthropy. We need to teach our children how to give money away and what to give it to. So join me in a few minutes and enjoy our commercials.
Locksmith, Layman's Lock and Safe Service and Repair is available for you. 559-228-1805.
Sometimes good intentions hurt rather than help. For just $1.76 per meal, the Fresno Rescue Mission offers more than food. We offer hope. Please donate today.
Choosing a Medicare plan can be difficult and frustrating. Susan Hatch can guide you through the Medicare maze and help find the right plan for you. Susan helps people understand the confusing and drastic changes that occur every year in Medicare. Susan will only recommend plans that will protect your assets and allow you to continue to see your personal doctor. As a 100% independent agent, Susan is not controlled by any particular insurance company to steer a person onto any one particular plan. Susan was awarded the #1 Medicare supplement agent in California. Look for Susan's Medicare question and answers every Monday in the Fresno Bee. Call Susan at 559-307-2287 and visit MedicareToday.net.
Gained a lot, learned a lot, and got a lot of love. If it weren't for the knowledge that I had gained from the classes at PCC, I probably wouldn't be the mom I am today. See, there it goes.
I would love you to meet my son Aaron. My situation was very difficult. I didn't know how my life was going to turn out.
We graduated in June 2010 and we got married in July. And through family, the Pregnancy Care Center changed our lives.
The Pregnancy Care Center was a huge, vital part in helping me walk through that pregnancy, in educating me and loving on me during that time.
Satellite television transforming the Middle East through hope in Jesus Christ. Sat7USA.org.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Okay, nice to have you back with me today, and we're going to now shift our topic of discussion from helping children learn how to earn money and manage that money and learn how to buy things with that money and where to put it to save it. Now we're going to focus on the question of helping children learn how to give money away. That's all part of money management. It's all part of the money system. And it's important that parents take the responsibility to, first of all, give money away yourself. You teach children to give money away. You teach philanthropy. You teach giving. You teach sharing your life with others through money by, first of all, doing it yourself as a parent. So we're drawing from my book, Dr. Teach Me to Parent. And this is a great book, and I recommend that you buy it. And go to my website, booksbyhedberg.com, and you can pick up a copy of your own book. And in here, you'll have even more discussion on how you help children in their area of money management, and now in the topic of saving money, but also giving it away. So parents, it's important that you get into the process of showing your children, teaching your children that you are also a giver, that when there's a need somewhere that you're able to give money to meet that particular need. And children learn by example, and you are the example in that process. But it's also important to discuss with children the particular charity that you give to, whether it's your church or it's one of the charities that we advertise on our program, like the Fresno Rescue Mission or the Pregnancy Crisis Center here, Care Center here in town, or some other charity that you might give to. Well, when you give that money to a charity, you show your children that you give and teach them why you give to that particular charity, why you believe in that charity, and why it's important that you give money to that particular charity. That would be helpful for the children. So when you want to teach philanthropy, giving away, do it yourself first of all, and then secondly, discuss why you give, where you give, and help them become a part of that process of giving itself. And that leads us to our third step. Select a charity, maybe as a family. Maybe you should Google a bunch of charities in your community or in the country or wherever you have interest, and select a charity. Just select one as a family. Maybe vote on it as a family. And we'd like to vote on some kind of a charity that maybe is in Africa, or maybe a charity that's over in the Near East through the Sat7 satellite program. Or maybe you'd like to give money to the Fresno Rescue Mission. Okay, if you select a charity, whatever it is that you give, you as a family then start saving money and then give to that charity as a family together. So you might have a jar, or you might have a big box, or some kind of a big piggy bank that you put money in, and then periodically you send money to that charity, maybe every month, or maybe every quarter, or whatever it might be, every half year. You send money to that charity, and the children become part of that giving process. They learn how to save money for the charitable purposes, they learn how to give money for charitable purposes, and then, of course, learn the joy that it does bring to them because you've given. And by the way, it's far better to give to the Fresno Rescue Mission than it is just to give $1 or $5 to somebody standing on a street corner. Because the Fresno Rescue Mission, they're not only just going to get a meal, but they have a place to sleep, they'll get an education, they'll get training, and they'll get job placement. I mean, your dollar is going to go so much further when you give to the Fresno Rescue Mission. And if you teach your children that, and you save money for that purpose, then as a family you give. And as a family, you enjoy the benefits that come from that. And it's a good feeling, that you've done that and you've taught your children, to do that as well. Now, sometimes it's not to an organization, sometimes just to a needy person, maybe on the block, maybe where you live, maybe in your employment, maybe where you live, maybe in school, maybe you talk to the teacher, maybe there's a kid sometime in the school that just has a particular need, and maybe you need to find out what that need is, and maybe you can help. Recently I was involved in a situation where a family's house burned down, and where all these people worked and where their friends worked, they raised money and they raised a bin of clothing because the house totally burned down. And all these various companies and places where their friends were employed and where they were employed had these savings accounts and clothing accounts, and they just gave it to them. And they were able to replenish their stock of clothing within a matter of days. So it's a matter of kind of studying that kind of thing and then talking about it with your children and help them learn, how to give money and where to give it, but also learn how to save money so that you can give. Maybe as a family you'd like to go out to eat one night, but you don't. You put that money into a box, into a piggy bank. Maybe you'd like to go to Starbucks, but you say, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to pass up Starbucks and we're going to put that money into the account. We're going to save it. So there's ways that you can kind of raise money and help children think about raising money and self-sacrifice for the sake of somebody else. Very important concept to do. Also, a matching fund I recommend. I recommend that parents set up a matching fund. That's just merely you put in $1 and a child puts in 10 cents. An older child maybe puts in a quarter, you put in $1. And you start matching money that way. And when you accumulate money, because you've matched it, you have more money, and then you give that out. You give that away. So set up kind of a matching program. It's kind of like a game. It's kind of like a family activity you can enjoy together by setting up a matching gift fund. And we do that in our adult world. But you want to teach children that they can be kind of part of a matching program like that you start within your own home. Or you might set up, if you're able to do this, set up what is sometimes called a donor-advised fund. A donor-advised fund is where the parent may put into a fund a sum of money, such as maybe $1,000 or maybe $5,000, if you can do that. And then the children are given the responsibility to select charities that money is donated to, given to. You might say, okay, we're going to put a fund together of $1,000 and we're going to give $250 away to this week. No, okay, now where do we want to give those $250? What charity do we want to give that to? And children talk about it and study that and make a decision together and then send a check out to that particular charity. And then maybe in a month or a quarter or maybe 3 or 4 months down the road, you say, okay, we're going to give another $250 away. So the family gets together, they decide, they discuss, make a decision as to where that money is going to be given, and then send the check off. So the children become involved in the idea of giving and learning how to give and learn how to make the decision of giving, but get the joy of giving, as well. So in a donor advised fund, you don't have to have a lot of money necessarily, but for children, but if you set up a little fund that they can make that decision as to where that money is to be sent. And so that's what a donor advised fund is all about. The donor, it makes a decision as to where it goes. So set that up in your own home. I think it would be a good thing for you to do. Now, you need a will. You make sure you have a will as a family. As parents, if you don't have a will, you need to have one. You need to set one up. But you want to help the children understand that you put into your will, kind of a definition or a claim or a statement saying that when you die, there's a certain amount of money that's going to be given out to the charities that you support, to the organizations that you support, to the church that you attend, to the organizations that you become part of, the nonprofits that you become part of. And you help the children see that in that will, if you were to die today, so many dollars was going to be given away to charity, or maybe a certain percentage of the amount that you have in your estate that's going to go to charity. So you set up some kind of a system through a will, and you help the children understand that there are ways that you plan ahead. You plan for the future. You plan your giving off into the future. So it's not just here today, but it's a future giving plan, as well. And make sure that there are lots of different ways that children can give besides money. I know one guy who grows his hair. He lets his hair grow very long and then cuts it off and donates it for cancer. for patients who have cancer and who lose their hair, and they can make a wig, if you will, out of the natural hair. I know I had a gal work for me in my office. She did that 4 different times, cut her hair and donated it to patients of cancer so that they would have natural hair to make a wig with. So there are ways that you can do that. And so you donate hours, you just volunteer time. You share, a wide variety of ways. Money is just one particular way. So make sure that you are part of the process of giving. You're part of the process of earning, but you're in the part of the process of making a decision as to what is the best way to make use of the money that you earn and that you have. Because there's lots of different ways that can be done. So, is your child a giver? Well, if he doesn't give, he's not inclined to give, maybe it's because you haven't taught the giving process. So the real question is, teach your child to give. Ask the teacher, does your child volunteer? Does your child give things? Does your child share things with other kids in the classroom? If so, then your child is a giver. So ask the teacher, and maybe encourage the teacher to encourage your child to share things with somebody else, or to help somebody else, or to volunteer for things, and become part of the process of making somebody else's life a little bit better. If there's a need in the classroom, ask the teacher. Maybe there is a need. Maybe there's a family in the class that you don't know about particularly, but your teacher knows that needs some kind of help or needs something particular. And maybe you can be the answer to their problem. Maybe the teacher can work with you and you can do that. And your family can be part of that giving process for someone else. So when you give, you're healthier. Givers are healthier people. People who donate time and donate money and to make the lives of other people better live better themselves. They're healthier people overall. They're also happier. On the measures of happiness, we find out that people who give tend to score higher than people who are selfish and internal and do not give money at all. So givers are healthier and they're happier people altogether. And they live longer, interestingly. They live longer because perhaps they're healthier, so therefore they live longer. And they're able to live a much more uplifting life because there's a joy to lift somebody else, to help somebody else have a positive experience and lift their life a little bit better. So take on this responsibility as a parent. Take on this duty as a parent. Take on this whole idea that giving is an important part of family life. It's not easy to teach giving. It's not natural to give. It's natural to keep. It's natural to get something and then to keep it for your own self, to be self-centered, to be self-motivated and self-oriented. That's the natural thing to do. So giving something that you want, something that you would prefer to have yourself, and give it to somebody else is not an easy process. But it's a good process, and you can teach it, and children can learn it. And when they do, there will be a natural plan, a natural flow in their life of thinking of other people, being concerned about other people, being aware of the needs of other people, and then wanting to respond to the needs of other people as they're able to do so. So it all starts in childhood. Giving starts in the home. Sharing starts in the home. Being part of the life of somebody else who's in need starts in the home. And it starts with you as the parent in that home. So do what you can. It isn't always lots of money. We're not talking about lots of money. We're just talking about the idea of giving, whether that's $1 or a $5 bill or a $50 bill or a $100 bill. It doesn't matter. The idea for children is that there's a giving process that goes on in your home and goes on with you, and that you're trying to instill in them so that they can appreciate the importance of giving and get the benefits of giving themselves. So there you are for the giving process. We've now looked at the idea of money management, from the idea of helping children acquire money, helping children save money, helping children thinking that there's a way to manage that money, to put some order to it. You take that money and you're able to give some of it away and able to save it for the future, to buy bigger things in the future, or something that's more important and something very valuable in the future. Long-term savings accounts. So we're looking at the various aspects of money management in the home. And as a parent, start the process. You're the lead. And take these various steps along the way of helping your children become money wise good money managers, and good money givers, when need is out there. So they're not a selfish, kid that grows up. Anyway, nice to have you with me for this little segment. We're going to come back, and our last segment today is going to be on leadership. I want to talk about ways in which you as a parent can teach your child to be a leader. Leader in the classroom, a leader in the home, obviously, a leader in the church that they attend, a leader in the community, a leader in the clubs that they are part of and participate in. Children have opportunities to learn leadership. They have many, many opportunities to learn leadership. And it's important that as a parent you provide those opportunities and help a child connect with those opportunities to learn the basic skills of leadership. We want children to learn to be leaders. We don't want children to learn to be followers. We have a lot of followers. So let's commit as parents, let's commit as a family to teach our children in our home, in your home, to be leaders, not just followers. So we'll come back in a little bit and we'll look at leadership in the home. Okay? Take a look at our commercials and we'll see you in just a little bit.
This segment is brought to you by Mike Briggs Properties. The recession's over. It's now safe to sell your home. Call Mike Briggs Properties.
This program is brought to you in part by Avante Health. Sound mental health is an important foundation to productive living. Happy employees are productive employees. Employers have the option to carve out the mental health component of their general medical plan to Avante, a fully insured specialty health plan focusing on mental health, substance abuse, and employee assistance programs. Avante offers full service benefit management from eligibility determinations to in-house claims processing. Avante can handle all aspects of your benefit management needs. Avante Health provides EAP mental health services to the employees and families of local and national companies, businesses, and governmental agencies. For more information, call Avante Health 800-498-9055. 800-498-9055. Visit AvanteHealth.com. Dr. Alan Hedberg is proud to have Avante Health as a sponsor of this program.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Nice to be with you again. Thanks for joining me now for the third segment of Dr. Teach Me to Parent. We're on an important topic today. We've just looked at issues of money management for children and some of the ways in which you as a parent teach your children to be part of the process of earning money, saving money, thinking about ways to use money well, giving money away, and just being wise as money managers. So we've looked at those now, and what I'd like to do now is shift our topic to a different theme and to maybe just part of the aspect of helping children become more mature and become more responsible adults. And that is teaching children to become a leader. How do you teach leadership in the home? How do you teach leadership in the school system that they are part of, and the clubs that they're part of, and the church that they attend, and the various places that children find themselves. How can you instill and encourage a kind of a leadership mindset and leadership skill base so that your children not only become adults, but they become adults of substance, and they become adults of influence, adults of leadership in the world in which they live. We want leaders. We have enough followers. We have enough of those kind of people around. But we need leaders, and we need to train leaders, and your children can become into that leadership classification of kids. So I do recommend that you take this area of leadership kind of seriously and look at ways in which you as a parent can be responsible for the training of your child to become a leader. Now, let me just put it in this kind of a context. First of all, it's important that you as a parent show leadership, that you take on leadership responsibilities at the place where you work, that you take on leadership responsibilities in the church that you attend, that you take on leadership responsibilities in the clubs that you're part of, in the neighborhood that you live in. Show decision-making, show decisiveness, show independence, show responsibility for others. Show that you can get off your duff and do something for others and to lead other people in the process and join together and do something good for the community or for the society in which we live. Obviously, you as a parent, it's important that you, first of all, become a leader. Now, I just attended 2 high school graduation ceremonies, and in both those ceremonies I was impressed with the number of children that were graduating that had a long career of leadership in the high school. 4 years of leadership in the high school. I was impressed. It wasn't 1, it wasn't 2, it was many that were recognized because of their leadership ability, their leadership experience, and their leadership know-how. So it can be done. And it's in those high school years that real leadership takes place. It's in the junior high where it starts. And we want to make sure that our children, your children, understand that leadership is important. It's necessary. And you want it to be part of their life to the degree to which you will also become a leader, and then you show them what leadership is all about through your leadership modeling. Okay? But leadership is based on trustworthiness. Leadership, first of all, you have to be a trustworthy person. You have to back up your words. You have to do what you say. You have to go where you say you're going to go. You have to be a trustworthy person. And then leadership skills follow from that. Then people will follow you if they trust you. But leaders are trusted people, so make sure that you have that. So anyway, parent, be the leader. Be an example. Number 2 is encourage your children to accept volunteer responsibilities, volunteer opportunities to be a leader in their class, leader in their school, leader in their church, leader in various places. When the leadership opportunity comes, nudge your child to volunteer to do that or to take lead or to help in that particular area. But encourage your children to be a leader when there are lots of voluntary opportunities. So encourage that and make sure that your child becomes a leader in whatever situation they find themselves. And you are the one that nudges them. You're the one that encourages them. You're the one that pushes them into that leadership opportunity. And you might even go a little bit further, and that is assign duties and tasks in the home that are leadership based. Give them a responsibility. Maybe you have a pet, and maybe that pet's responsibility is the responsibility of the child. And that child has to feed that pet and feed that and care for that pet and see that the bed is made and that's clean and that the pet is washed and cleaned and pick up after them in the yard and so on. I mean, that's leadership training. When you have an animal in your home, a pet, and your child is assigned the duties of being responsible for that particular pet. That's leadership training. That's how you do it. It might be a duty. You might just say, okay, the garbage man comes in our home on Friday mornings, Thursday nights, you see that the garbage cans are put out on the street. Okay, that's leadership. That's training leadership so that they now have that as a responsibility and they do that week upon week upon week upon week and follow through. That's where leadership training starts, and that's how you do it. So there may be other kind of duties that you can assign, but assign your kids duties that are age appropriate, that they will then do on a weekly basis or daily basis, and show that they have the initiative, they have the follow through, they have the memory, they have the duty to do it, and they follow through And then they get the joy of it, but you also get the benefit of their leadership in your home. And you have to make sure that as a parent, you praise all leadership opportunities. You commend, you praise, you approve anything a child does that's leadership oriented, that shows leadership, that shows independent skills, shows decision-making skills. Praise children for that, because children will tend to follow through much more if they're praised. If you ignore it, you just say, well, that's just your duty. You're just supposed to do that because you live here. You know, there's not a lot of motivation for a child to follow through. Make sure you praise and you approve and that you reward, children. You might even give them a little money. You might even help them acquire some money so they'll learn how to manage that money later on. But it's all part of that leadership training that you're giving them money, for. So make sure you do that, as well. Leadership means that you have to learn to be independent. You got to teach independence, okay, as a parent. Leadership means that you have to be problem solving in your orientation. You have to think about a problem and solve that particular problem. You have to be oriented towards making decisions and following through on the decisions you make. You have to be self-oriented, self-directed. That's what leadership is. These are the traits, these are the qualities of a leader. And these are the things that you want to teach as a parent. Teach children to be independent. Teach them to make decisions. Teach them to be decisive. Teach them to solve problems. Teach them to think in the solving problem kind of way. It isn't a matter of just complaining about a problem, but it's a matter of looking at that problem and saying, what can you do to make that problem better, that situation better? That's teaching leadership. That's teaching the way of thinking and thinking forward and thinking in an improvement way and making things better, stronger. And that's what you as a parent are supposed to do in the teaching of leadership skills in your home. It can be done, but you can teach serving others. You can encourage serving others. That's very important as a trait of leadership, because leadership is essentially the process of serving other people. So anytime there's opportunity to serve somebody in your block that has a need, somebody in your block that could stand some help or would benefit from some help, or just from a visit, maybe an older person that would just appreciate your children coming by and visiting for a half hour. See, that's teaching leadership skills. That's teaching independence. That's teaching responsibility. That's teaching looking out after the needs of others. That's trying to meet the needs of other people. That's all part of leadership. So encourage your children to serve others in a wide variety of ways. Look for opportunities. Kids may not see them, but you might see them. And then put your children in touch with those opportunities to serve others and to help other people in a wide variety, of ways. But leaders also speak up. Leaders speak up. Leaders have opinions and they voice those opinions. Leaders have beliefs and they express those beliefs. They act on those beliefs. They stand up for what they think, what the values that they believe in. They stand up for that. They're assertive people. They're assertive kids. They're assertive adults. And what you want to make sure that you encourage your children to be outspoken. You encourage your children to voice their opinions. You encourage your children to discuss problems and why problems have occurred and what you can do to make those problems go away, or how you can solve a problem, or how you can improve a situation for somebody. You want to teach the problem-solving skills, but first of all, you have to identify a problem. First of all, you have to know that there's a problem, but not just to complain about the problem, but to say, how can I approach that problem to make it better? Maybe a problem in your community, maybe a problem in your church, maybe a problem in your home, maybe a problem with your grandparents, maybe a problem with neighbors, who knows? But wherever there is kind of a problem, kind of look at it from the point of view of encourage your children to speak up about that problem and deal with it and come up with some kind of an answer so that things can get better, not just remain worse or as bad as they have been. Practice solving problems. Practice thinking of ways to be a problem solver. Practice ways to be a leader in your home and then, beyond the home. And then obviously help your children see that leadership also involves compassion, caring for other people, being assertive, being decisive. The compassion part sometimes we overlook. Leaders are compassionate people. They care about other people. They care about the results, what's going to happen in the lives of other people, the results of a particular family when they go through a crisis. They care about that and they have compassion. So when you teach compassion to your children, you're teaching one of the basic leadership skills for that particular child. So sure, they need to speak up about a problem or speak up about their belief or their values or whatever it might be, but they also have to act, and they act with compassion. They act with caring. So you speak up because you have a certain belief, but you act because you have a certain amount of compassion for somebody in a situation that needs you and needs your help and needs you to be available to them at a time of crisis in their life. And then lastly, focus on improving situations rather than just complaining. Don't quit. It's easy to quit. When things go bad, it's easy to quit. When the coach is not the right kind of a coach, it's easy to quit. Speak up. Go to that coach. Deal with it. Deal with the problem. Show some leadership. And try to get things changed if that's the case. You know, the story of Isaac Watts. We all know Isaac Watts is a great hymn writer and a musician from the 1700s and wrote just 400 or 500 or more songs and hymns for the church. You know, and Isaac Watts was going home from church one day with his father, and Isaac Watts complained about the music that was being sung that particular day in church. He didn't like it at all. And the father just turned to Isaac Watts and just said, well, if you don't like it, change it. And Isaac Watts went on as a child then and wrote music and changed the whole course of music and hymn writing in the church in the 17 and 1800s, and we still sing Isaac Watts songs even today. He made a profound effect because he didn't like something and he complained about something. Then his father nudged him to then do something about it. And that's a great story for us as parents, is when your kids complain, you look at it, you look at the children from the point of view, okay, that's fine, but then do something about it. Show some leadership, show some initiative, come up with a creative idea, and then help them implement that. Help them carry that out. Help them show that that idea might have some value and can maybe improve a situation. So become part of their process of helping some situation change and improve. That's the role of the parent. Help them see that there's a need, encourage them to meet that need, and then help them carry that out and go with them and be with them. Maybe help them write a letter to the editor of the Bee or to your local newspaper. Children can write letters to the editor. They can comment about something that was in the paper or something that's going on in the community. They might write a letter of commendation. They might write a letter of complaint. But they can write a letter, and you can help them do that and help them submit a letter, to the editor. That's helping children become a leader in their community and get their voice out there and show some influence. They might even write a letter to the city manager. If you have a particular issue in the city that you're concerned about or that you don't like or that you'd like to see some changes, become part of the process of writing letters and help your children take the lead in that so that your children learn that there are lots of ways to influence what goes on around them, not just by speaking, but sometimes by letter writing, not just by physically leading a group and being a leader of a group, but being an outspoken person for the good of the community and for the good of other people. And then I would say, ask your teacher. Ask the teacher of your children, is your child showing leadership in the classroom? Is your child showing some definite leadership skill? And if so, good. Thank the teacher for that and encourage the teacher to develop that a little bit further. But what you want then is a home that's leadership based. You want a home that's a leadership home. That in your home, leadership skills are talked about, are given examples of, and encouraged. So your home should be a leadership home. Your home should be a leadership skill learning home so that they learn the skills of leadership. And your home should be a home where servant leadership is learned. It's servant leadership. It's not just leadership and trying to bring about change and all that, but servant leadership is restoring a situation, restoring a person, restoring people that have been hurt, people that are in trouble, people who are in need. Be a servant to them. Help them. Be compassionate and be caring. That's the goal of leadership training in the home. So you can be that person. You can be that home. You can be that parent. And your children can be leaders in their levels of life, in their school, in their community, in their church, in their clubs, and with their friends. Talk about leadership. Have them discuss it around the table. Have them give examples of what they did today where they showed leadership skills. Have that as part of conversation, and you encourage it in just a lot of different ways in your home. So be a leadership-based home. Be a leadership-based parent. Be a leadership-based family. Make leadership part of your life within your home. Anyway, before we leave today, I'd like to give you the tip of the day. And here's a little tip just to follow through as parents, okay? If you want to run fast, run alone. If you want to run far, run together. And that's the tip of the day. As a family, run together, be unified, work together, plan together, play together, give money away together. Be leaders together. Be part of your community together. Make your family a unit so that when people know you, they know your family. When they know your children, they know you. So that there's a unified system here. And as a family, you'll run much further when you run together. So that's our tip for the day. And say, by the way, it's nice to have you with me today, and I would welcome you to listen to my podcast. It's on 4 days a week, and actually you can access it anytime. The Psychology Report at buzzsprout.com. The psychologyreport.buzzsprout.com is my podcast, and I deal with a lot of different topics in psychology, and that's available on the internet, so take advantage of that as well. Utilize our sponsors. They'll be part of our program, our ads that we've been playing this hour, and encourage you to utilize their services. They're all good people and have good things for you. Okay? Anyway, nice to be with you today, and bye for now.
Opportunity isn't always given a door to knock on, so we built one. The door to our kids' futures is often crowded by temptation and misdirection, making it difficult for them to reach their full potential. But once they enter that door, our club door, inside is a place of hope and opportunity. The second home for the nearly 4 million kids we serve every year after school and in the summer. Inside our doors, youth development professionals and mentors provide the guidance, support, and encouragement needed for every kid and teen in an enriching and safe environment, no matter their circumstances. Boys and Girls Club set the standard as the #1 advocate for youth during the out-of-school time. We assure success is within reach for all kids and teens in America, with club members on track to graduate from high school with a plan for the future, demonstrating good character, and living a healthy lifestyle. We're leading America's youth, fostering success well beyond the basketball court through hundreds of programs, from robotics to the culinary arts, providing unlimited opportunities for those seeking. This hope and opportunity builds character, creates leaders, and helps all kids define their future. Ensuring young people find their passions, reach for their dreams, and achieve their full potential. Much can be found inside our 4,000 doors nationwide and on military installations around the world. Boys and Girls Clubs is the opportunity for all kids, and our doors are open. Great futures start here.
Hey world, I'd like to introduce you to someone really special and really cool. This is my mom. My mom is an amazing person. She is a writer. She is a newly transplanted Texan. She is a woman of faith and she loves 80s music. She also is a person with a very rare genetic muscular disorder called Pompe disease.
Pompe disease is a terminal, progressive illness. It's a genetic enzyme deficiency which ultimately leads to the destruction of your skeletal muscles. Those are the muscles that control how you move, your arms, your legs, and your torso. When your jaw or esophageal muscles are affected, you can no longer eat and require a feeding tube. When your diaphragm is impacted, you can't breathe on your own any longer and require a trach ventilator. When your legs are impacted, you will no longer be able to walk without assistance. You can lose bladder and bowel control. It affects children and adults, and eventually it kills you. It is rare, but it's real.
Now we're lucky. My mom's still able to walk, though she uses a cane to get around most of the time. She's still able to breathe unassisted, but she can't go upstairs, and she needs some kind of assistance to get up from a seated position, like if she's sitting in a chair. She has to examine every activity ahead of time to know if there are things like handicap parking, accessible buildings, and even functional bathrooms. All of her activities depend heavily on the weather. A windy day can be just as dangerous as an icy one. She jokes that you can tell what kind of day she's having by whether she can lift her arms high enough to do her hair. And she recently moved into a one-story house specifically with the idea that she's one day going to need a wheelchair to get around. Those are the kind of things she has as everyday concerns. Her normal everyday fears are things like dropping her keys or falling in public and not being able to get up. That actually happened a couple of years ago. She fell and fractured her pelvis because she was unable to break her fall.
I receive an enzyme replacement therapy every 2 weeks for life. It's a 6-hour IV. It helps slow the progression of the disease, but it is not a cure. And it costs about $100,000 every time you sit in the chair. Insurance takes care of most of that if you're lucky, but not everyone is, and the expenses add up very quickly. Things like wheelchairs, accessible vehicles, special housing, travel costs to medical conferences, doctor's appointments, and clinical trials. Luckily, there is a group that helps families with Pompe handle these costs. The United Pompe Foundation is a group connecting funds with real people who need help. This was founded by a father whose son has Pompe disease, and they could not find the resources that they needed. They assist patients and their families with medical costs and other expenses that they need to survive day to day. Every little bit helps.
There are a lot of things in life that we really take for granted, and sometimes the scariest things in the world are the things that you can't see. So today we're asking for you to help us shed a little light on a rare and scary disease. Please share this video with your friends, your family, strangers, anybody that you come across. Education is a big thing. It makes a big difference. And another way to make a really huge difference in someone's life is to go check out the United Pompe Foundation. Their website is in this video description. Click on it, check it out, and go ahead and donate some money if you're able to. Again, this is an organization giving real help to real people who are amazing and need it, like my mom. I love her, and thank you so much for helping us out. Thank you so much.